Hello, everybody. This is Murray back with you on this latest podcast for Lavaca County News. And I've got my co-host, Michelle, here. How you doing, Michelle?
I'm great. How are you, Murray?
Oh, I'm good. And we got a lot to get into. I'll tell you folks right away, we got a lot of stories. We're still going pretty far, and we want to kind of cut back a little bit so that you don't mind listening. Some people don't like to listen more than about 10 minutes, and I'll have to say I'm one of them, unless it's something I'm really interested in. But we appreciate your support, and we're going to get right to it. And we're going to start off with the Shiner Gazette. Now, I'll say this before I start. We've got stories in all these papers about different murder cases and this and that. Now, we're not going to elaborate on those. They're in all your papers. You can go read it for yourself, because we don't have an opinion. We might have our own personal opinion, but otherwise we will not broadcast it here. And I'm sure that Michelle wants to talk about this brewery grand opening.
I do. I'm really excited. Most of you guys know that I do work for the Spetzel Brewery part-time in hospitality, and this is right next door. Their new grand opening will be the Spetzel Barbecue Company. I've already had the opportunity to eat there many times, and I enjoy it. It's great barbecue, and the brewery's a great time. So come out this Saturday for their grand opening. Support them. There's going to be door prizes and tastings and, of course, beer. So what's better than that? I'm going to be there from 11 to 4 working, so come tell me hi. I do want to kind of go off Murray's. We do want to offer our condolences to the families, the Pilat family in particular here, who did lose their loved one and buried on Friday. And so our condolences. It's not easy. We sometimes have to report the really hard news. And so we don't know all the facts either. And we do know it's a hard time for both families. And we hope that they can find the outlets they need to get through this difficult time.
Yeah, you're right. I'm glad you brought that up, because that is a very hard time to lose a loved one. And I've been through that. It's not in that situation, but anyway, we do offer our condolences to the family, and we know it's hard to get over. In fact, you never will get over it. But anyway, we're going to move on now. And I was going to ask you too, where exactly is this barbecue?
So the barbecue place is right in between the office and the hospitality area, or the gift shop. So it's kind of stuck right in the middle there. So when you do have to get out, like you are going to either shop or have a tour, so you have to get out of your car. It is a little bit of a walk, but it is well worth it.
Can you see it from when you pull in the park? Or?
You may be able to. It's a little bit offset to the back, but kind of right in the middle. Like I said, you see the office first, and then you're going to see that barbecue place in the middle, and then the gift shop.
Who is, do they have a regular barbecue person?
Yeah, it's going to be Tommy Schutte. He used to own Shiner Barbecue Company downtown, so he brought all of his recipes and knowledge with him to the Spetzel Brewery and the Spetzel Barbecue Company, and so he's doing a great job. And alongside of him, he's assisted by David Schrader, which David is a nurse by day and barbecue guy at night.
Do you know what their hours are going to be? Well, it says it
I think it's till 4 most days, but 11 to 4. And then on this weekend, we will be open later till 6.
Well, I'll have to drive over there for that, because I'm tired of driving all the way to Sealy for my wife's favorite barbecue place, and she loves it. But
she'll make a new favorite, I promise.
You bet. All right. Our senior writer, Jimmy Apple, has written a good story about, he covered the county court, commissioner's court, like he does every time they meet. And they had a guest there, Judge Old, O-L-D. He spoke to them about the things we're going through as far as weapons and this and that. So anyway, that's on the front page of the Shiner paper. And then we've got this Shiner Volunteer Fire Department car show set for April 14th and 15th. And I go to that just nearly every year. And,
you do, Murray?
Yeah.
I'll have to see you there.
Yeah, well, you may not this time.
Oh, my goodness.
But anyway, I'm a big car show fan and been one for years, and I try to make it to theirs every time. And when I do go, I shoot video and a lot of pictures and try to get it up on our Facebook pages. But anyway, even if you're not a car enthusiast, you'll love that because they got some barbecue teams over there for their cook-offs. So I don't know how many of them sell it or not.
I don't either, but I know they sell usually Shiner rice, and that's giblet rice, but made the Shiner way, only the best. So there's definitely going to be food to be had. So come on out that day, support them, and support the event. The last day to register to vote in the May election is April 6th. It tells you, a great article, it tells you like who can vote, who's eligible to register, and all those things. I don't think I have to probably tell any of our listeners, but it is important. It is not only your right to vote, but it is an honor to get to vote. And you have to think back. I always think back to the people that couldn't vote from the different race classes and women in particular. And so now we have that right. So go see all the ways that you can make sure that you are registered and able to voice your opinion.
And it's also your duty. It's your duty to your country to do this in your city. So try your best to get out and do it, and they'll help you. I know that here in Hallettsville, I know when my mom was still alive, they had a drive up for I could take her and they would come out to her.
Yeah, I mean, they want you to vote, so they will pretty much do what they can to make sure that you get every opportunity to.
Okay, now, folks, I'm looking at this. We're looking at our electronic copies, and we're scrolling them on an iPad. So if you hear me say I'm scrolling up or down, that's what it is. There's a big picture of the Comanche band.
Yeah, they're still doing great. They are the state championship band, and they're still winning awards. And the last ones was the sweepstakes at sight reading. So I don't know much about band, but I think it is when you're given music on the spot and you have to read it and play it. But I could be wrong. So if I'm wrong, someone call in and tell me, and we'll tell you what it is next week.
And the St. Joseph's Catholic Church is going on in Moulton.
Yeah, there's a lot of Easter egg hunts, Easter picnics in all of our papers that I had ads for and advertisements. So you guys support that. Bring your kids out. Great stuff going on for Easter. You
bet. There'll be a lot of things, and your different churches will be having.
Yeah, and I think most of our newspapers have the different service times too already starting to be posted. Yeah. So.
And we'd like to thank Patex Market for their big ad that they run with us, I believe, every week.
Every week.
And we appreciate that. Then we got the Shiner Sports. Anything in particular, Michelle, that you...
Not sure. I know that they're all doing very well in all the many sports. You have to remember that in these little small towns that we all service, that these kids are multi-sport athletes, most of them. So they are very busy right now, including keeping up academics, because if you don't pass, you can't play. So congrats to all of them. Make sure you check out their success right now and support them and see their schedules. Go catch a game or a track meet.
Yeah, there's so much on these sports pages, so much going on that we can't cover it all. We appreciate Mark Luby doing the job over there for us. And just when you get your paper, you'll have a lot to read. Then we have a story here about a car show that was on the square this past weekend. And I didn't make that one, but our managing editor, Bobby Hariska, was there, and he's got a story about that.
Yeah, and I think in the household paper, when we go through that later, we'll talk a little more about it, but he has some great pictures.
You bet.
The courthouse is a great backdrop for those cars, for sure.
All right. You got anything else you want to cover?
No, I think they're starting to talk about kids' camp, so start looking for that for summer activities for your kids. If you want to get a summer activity published in one of our newspapers or advertised, please let us know. We're happy to get those out there. I know as a parent, I'm always looking for stuff for my kid to do during the summer. So. All
right. Well, that's going to be it for Shiner. We're going to move on over now to what we call our flagship paper, is because that's where our main office is located, and the Hallettsville Tribune-Herald. And we have more stories about murders and crime and this and that. And like we said when we were covering Shiner, our condolences go out to the folks that have lost loved ones. And and this and that. And you know, as far as things that can happen to you, you don't have to be in a big city for this to happen. And we had the same thing right here on the square in Hallettsville, where a guy pulled out a grenade, and somebody said it was fake, but I think I read somewhere where the bomb squad blew it up. So I don't know.
I'm not sure. It says simulated, so I guess it was basically seemed like the real thing, and the bomb squad was called out, and a lot of police were involved. And the moments that you just have to remember that those are scary moments for those people that are risking their lives to protect us. And, you know, sad for who chose to do it and why they did, but we ask that you think twice before your actions, for sure. And 20 years ago, it happened here, too. And that is what Jimmy Apple, our senior reporter, writes about the Wick murders that happened 20 years ago. And those people were just in their homes. So that's a great story to catch back. Not a great story, but Jimmy writes it very well.
Yeah, he did a good job.
To catch back up on, it's hard to believe that's 20 years ago. I think I remember reading about it and hearing about it. And I was just out of college then, so...
Yeah, Jimmy gathered a lot of information. He did research and said something to him or helped him. I don't know.
No, I know someone called in and had put a bug in his ear that it was coming up, and he did a good job. All
right, and then we don't want to forget our little buddy Henry Joe Hank Yashek's Town Chatter, and I think we had a mistake last week.
We did. I think Henry caught it right away that it got ran twice, I think. So check out the new one. It has a new trivia. I think it's a word scramble. Henry worked hard on scrambling those words, so call in the answers. Give him a little love.
Yeah, we'll give you a guarantee that the right one's in there this time. See anything else? We're scrolling, folks. We're looking through the pages. We get to see these pages on Wednesday, which just a hour or so ago. So we're kind of actually in your situation where we got to read them on the fly and get them in this podcast.
They're the Cattlewomen donate beef to area schools to celebrate Ag Day. So we always invite those good feel stories to come in. Send those in. I know that was a provided article, and all you have to do is contact us here at the paper, and we'll try to get it in as soon as we can. And if it's not in there right away, it's usually because of space. So give us a chance.
Yeah. Wait a week or so before you complain too much, folks, because we can't help it. We just, our papers run on advertising, and that's what makes the page count, A lot of advertising, more pages. So that's how that works. And then Bobby's got this story about the car show on the square here in Hallettsville. That was a benefit for Relay for Life.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and he said there was clunkers and showpieces, but it was all a great look, and he has some great pictures of some of those cars, and like I said, the courthouse makes a great background scenery for that event.
Yeah, Farrah's barbershop over here, well, Floyd's is what she calls it. She puts these things together. I'm sure she has a lot of help, but if you ever want to contact her about any of these events, well, she's cutting hair over here right off the square, so you can find her. And Chuck Groff has got a tremendous amount of stories and color pictures about baseball. And
I think he only had one page last week, so he made up for it tremendously this week with a lot going on. So check it out. I know the track results are in there from the Brahma relays, and like I said, different things. These athletes are very busy this time of year, so we don't want to spoil all of that. You have to read something on your own, right, Murray?
Yeah. And you might contact Chuck and thank him for doing such a great job. And Mark Luby, too, as a matter of fact.
And we had Little League opening day, I think in most towns. I think you'll see it in Yoakum. I'm not sure that Shiner had anything in the paper, but I know that Shiner had theirs. And here's Hallettsville. And Hallettsville got their big congratulations because I know that their softball, I think it was the 10U, that went very far last year. I think all the way to the state finals or one of the finals. So congrats to them and best of luck to all these little leagues out there. If you ever need a good laugh, I guarantee you could go to a T-ball game and it'll bring you lots of joy.
They are hilarious. Okay, I believe we just about got this wrapped up for Hallettsville. like I said, you need to just get your paper and read it, or if you're online, go to lavacacountytoday.com and you can read them all there.
And there is both citywide garage sales for Hallettsville and Moulton this weekend. The Hallettsville Classifieds has your list of all the locations for those. And then I think Moulton will tell you where they have the list for it. You want to talk about yours, Murray?
Well, a little bit.
Right.
We're kind of running short on time, but
I'm talking too much.
No, it ain't you. Anyway, this story is about a Lavaca County pioneer from the beginning of Hallettsville. And when she was interviewed, she was in a wheelchair, and she was 98, and her name was Sally Harris. That was her maiden name. And I did quite a bit of research on this one. In fact, I had already written it when I came across some more information about her. And her husband, after she got married, they started the lumberyard in Shiner. And she also had a dress shop with two of her sisters. So it kind of covers the whole county. And this is some of the oldest stories that I've found over the years. So we have this in Hallettsville and Moulton for sure. I'm not sure about the others, but it's also up on Lavaca County today.
Yeah, I really liked it because the business she started with her sisters was the first female business in Shiner.
Right.
And of course, I own my own business in Shiner, so that's big for me. And there's actually a lot of female-owned businesses in Shiner. So,
but there wasn't back then.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
But she started a great thing.
Yes, she did. And you got to think about it. This wasn't anything even near recently. That's when Shiner was just founded that they did that. Right. So anyway, we're going to go on. We got two more to cover. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. We're going to go over now to the Yoakum Herald Times, and they have the Little League opening. And we have a report here about from Texas Park and Wildlife about this chronic wasting disease that's being found in deer. And I'm not going to read the whole thing for you, but it's on your front page.
And we have bonds going on. I know both, this week it's talked about in Yoakum, but both Shiner and Yoakum will have that. And that's also why it's important to get registered to vote, because those will be part of the election and you want to be informed. So read about that so you know what you're voting for. Congrats to DeWitt County Judge Fowler for being honored by the TAC for going the extra mile. And I think that those judges and service people always are going the extra mile. So kudos to him for being recognized for doing it. All
right, we have the police report and a Yoakum Parks master plan survey, meeting notices, and the sports. Lady Bulldogs win 2 games in district. This is by Mark Luby. Columbus 15, Yoakum 12. Is one of them, but that's not the ones they win. One, of course. But I'm scrolling and just reading off what I see.
And congrats to those. There's a picture of the Yoakum Bulldogs soccer team seniors. There's 4, and that may not seem like a lot, but I don't think Yoakum has had soccer for maybe more than 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
So congrats, because they are some of the pioneers for that soccer team. And you got to start somewhere, and they have been doing increasingly well over the past couple of years. So.
Yeah, I gave you a score where Yoakum got beat. Let me give you one where they won. Yoakum beat Palacios 13-4.
That's a good win.
You bet.
That one's better.
And
it happens. You win some, you lose some. The cheerleaders are named. It's hard to believe we're already preparing for the next school year, but we are. And so that list of hardworking young ladies that will be cheering on the Bulldogs last year is in the paper. So if you see them on the streets, give them a congrats.
And then we've got a report here about the varsity track teams, and they won second at a recent meet. That's a pretty long article, got all the stats and everything else, and we want to thank Mark again for doing that. It is a big picture of this opening ceremony for Little League.
It's a lot of Little Leaguers, so I will tell you, there's a lot of games to catch, so go out, support those youth. 6-column picture.
I mean, little ball players everywhere. Very good. Very good.
It looks like that Boy Scout Troop 228, they won the Live Oak District Challenge, so read about them. We always like how much hard work and good deeds the Boy Scouts do for our communities.
And then we have a donation here. I can't quite read the cut line. It's Providence Christian Academy.
It looks like they received it from the Don Casper Foundation.
Right.
So 5,000, during Technology Day. So thanks. The Don Casper Foundation has been doing a lot. It's a new foundation named after Don G. Casper. And so they've given to a lot of different organizations. I think you could apply online for their foundation.
Yeah, folks, you need to really support our local businesses and manufacturers or whatever they happen to be, because they do things like this, and it helps our communities, it helps our county, and so remember them when you go to shop or need to buy anything. We've got the Easter picnic.
And those are two articles we kind of covered last year, but last week, not year, by Murray about the feral hogs and the violence from back in the day.
Yeah.
Both of them, I think, appeared in some of our papers last week. So
yeah.
You guys, though, if you missed them, check them out. Check them out online. They were both very good articles.
We appreciate folks over at the Herald Times for, even if they don't have room to run them, the week they come out, they save them, and they run them later, and I certainly appreciate that. Classifieds, just like in all the papers, if you need to hire somebody or you're looking for insurance or real estate, check out these classifieds. And I believe that's going to wrap it up, Michelle, unless you have something else for me. All right, well, we're going to head over to what my old buddy Hans used to say. The Molten Eagle is the cleanup batter. We're going to tell you about the front page right now.
Yeah, and I had mentioned earlier about the citywide garage sale for Halsell and Moulton. There's more information about Moulton's in an article on the front page. So go out, get you some treasures this weekend.
And then Bobby Hariska has got a story about springtime being a bad time for rabies, which is a fact. You might want to read over that. We have the story about the Pioneer Lady in Shiner. And, Roger Yannock was inducted into the Hall of Fame for life of contributions. I know he was known by a lot of people, and he was one of the founders of the South Texas Polka and Sausage Fest. That was a big honor for his family, for him to get that. Let's don't forget St. Joseph's Catholic Church in Moulton has their parish picnic on April 17th. And Navidad Valley Cattle Women donated beef. We already covered that in one of the papers.
But thanks to them again for sure.
Yeah, but this is it's the same story, just a different picture. And then this is, do you know anything about this?
I know nothing about Scissortail Hill, but it looks like horse.
Well,
jumping?
Well, I had to look this up. I went to the dictionary because there was a word here that I didn't know the meaning of. Eventing. Okay. The word is eventing, and I didn't even know that was a word. And I went to dear old Merriam-Webster dictionary and found out what eventing is. It pertains, but they did it at Scissortail Hill. It was the young lady's last name is Grieve. I believe it's Amy Grieve, and I may be pronouncing that wrong. We have the repeat of the brewery barbecue, Molten Eagle Sports, livestock reports. The kittens lost to the Shiner JVs, and the Moulton boys placed 6th at the Fayetteville track meet. And then we have the classifieds. And basically everything else, we have this story or a picture on the last page about Bubba Schmidt and his crew had a warm welcome into Moulton earlier this month and with the ribbon cutting of their business. And I remember them from Gonzales, and I think that's where they started. And they still may be going in Gonzales, I don't know.
And if anyone's ever needing a ribbon cutting, I think you should just contact your local chambers. All the chambers I know do it, so we like to welcome and join your chamber, but welcome you to our communities.
You bet.
And then you get your picture in the paper. How about that?
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about these people who got their picture in the paper.
Oh, I thought you said you got your picture.
Not your...
And when you said that, I was looking at an ad of a bunny. So
Look at that. Murray's the Easter Bunny.
Yeah. Anyway, folks, I think that's going to wrap them all up. And we appreciate you being here with us. And I appreciate Michelle as she is the new co-host of this thing. And we hope you will share these. And I'm going to say my goodbyes first because I tend to cut her off. I'm going to tell you goodbye, friends. We really appreciate you listening. And I'm going to turn it over to Michelle.
And I do too want to tell you thank you for listening. A big shout out to all the listeners. It's a great way to get your news. Sometimes I find it hard to sit down and read the paper, so just listen to us. We're kind of funny. Maybe we'll get funnier. I don't know. But I've learned a lot. I think when Murray says 6 column, we may not all know what 6 columns are because the world only in the paper industry works in columns. So if you ever want to know, maybe we'll tell you about that next time, what a column is. And other than that, we also use dictionaries here. It's very crazy. I know, a whole new world for me. But we're hanging out at the paper. We like to report the news. If it's good, bad, and sad, we have to report it all, but we like the good news the best, so send that in. And have a great week. Come out to the brewery and see me this weekend.
All right, goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.